This story begins in October of 2021. Just so that you all know, my face is fully clean and I put my contacts in because I cannot see through my glasses to do this and to do this at the same time. After basically a year and a half of being stuck in our apartment, watching the news on our little screens, and being isolated from the rest of the world, I finally felt vaxxed, boosted, and confident enough to step outside of our four walls and go beyond the little bubble that had been our home for, and really our whole lives, for the last year and a half. To start with, I use the day cream from Base Cosmetics, and unfortunately it's not available anymore unless you look on eBay, which is where I still get it. So until it expires or is no longer available, that's where you can find it if you have been desperately searching. So there are many things that you don't know about me, but one of the things that I've never discussed on this channel is that I really like to do and to experience living history. Now, if you're unfamiliar with that term, living history is basically when someone dresses up, you go to a historic house or you go to a museum, they talk to you about the place, they do things that might be contextual to the time period. There's just a lot of site-specific, historic-specific action and discourse happening between yourself, the guest, and myself, the living historian. I just went in with Glam Glow Glow Starter, which is a primer, and I use Nude Glow because I'm very pale. I love this so much, in fact, that I used to be a historic interpreter at a pretty famous living history site when I was in college and just beyond. And in fact, I even had ambitions to go and work in living history for the rest of my life. But life happens, of course, and I found myself in England in 2008, a newlywed when we were falling into a recession. At the time when we moved back to the United States, it felt like a necessary evil that I should go out and find a job that paid a little bit better than living history does. I ended up going back to school to get my master's in secondary education, became a teacher, and didn't really look back for a very long time until back to the beginning of the story in October 2021. Now I am using my favorite ever concealer, which is Sephora's Make No Mistake, and this particular one is in Poppy. So finally, leaving our apartment for the first time in 18 months or so, I took a stroll down to Klein Farm, which, if you are unfamiliar, is a living history site in West Chicago. And it was really the first solo trip that I took on my own when the pandemic started to cool a little bit. And I'm also going to, of course, use Kiko Milano, my sculpting touch. Taking a walk there and meeting the staff made me immediately want to jump back into living history. I found myself volunteering there within a couple of weeks of visiting. So now I'm just blending all of my concealer and my contour. I was doing a lot of volunteering and some video work on this channel and with some clients. And then I found myself working for Klein Creek because every summer they actually have a summer camp. And so I started dressing out for them and running programs for their summer camp and realized that I had been missing living history all along. Now, the problem with living history, especially with interpretation, it tends to be seasonal work because people don't want to come out to these places that feel pretty outdoorsy in the winter. Now, here's a little secret though. If you are lucky enough to find a living history site that is open year-round, the winter times are the best time to go. Because not only is it not as busy most of the time, there's also a lot of interesting stuff that goes on no matter what history site it is that you don't really get to experience at the height of the summer or even in the fall when these places tend to be at their busiest. So I was working full-time but seasonal at Klein Creek, and of course I didn't want it to end because when you find something that you love, you never want it to end, right? You want to keep on doing it. I loved this so much and got so involved in the day-to-day that I even had to put my Patreon on hold. It's back, by the way, so if you want to join the Crafty Club, we do emails, I do updates, sometimes you get to see some behind the scenes stuff that you wouldn't otherwise get to see on the channel, and the link is in the description. Now that I've blended everything, I'm just patting down and tapping throughout my face just to keep everything in place. So in this current position, I wear a lot of different hats. I interpret history in the historic farmhouse. I run programs all over the farm. But of course, if you have been paying attention to my own Instagram account this month, especially on the stories, I have been sharing some of the social media work that I've been doing with Historic Wagner Farm. And mostly, I have been directing, shooting, and editing, but of course, occasionally starring in their short form videos. If you would like to follow along, then you can follow Historic Wagner Farm on Instagram. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Besame Babalu palette to highlight my eyebrows with the Band Leader Brown and maybe put some purple on today. We'll use Mertz Mauve and LaCie's Lilac. So something that I have not really discussed on this channel, but has also been true even before I started the channel itself, is that I have been working with various clients over the years to heighten their own social media presences. And so I started out way back in 2018 working for a couple of brands and doing some of the background work on their social media. And now I still work, of course, as you know, with Lawrence, doing some of the filming and some of the direction for some of his more involved videos, shall we say. And then I also work with Diane Shiffer, who I have, for the record, been trying to get here on YouTube for quite a while, so maybe someday that will happen. She is amazing, and you may even already be familiar with her on Instagram and TikTok. Now I have thankfully fallen into a routine and makes a lot more sense for my life now. And so as a result of that, I am happy to say that my goal right now for this channel for next year is to put out a video per week for the foreseeable future. Patrons will always be the first ones to be let in on any updates. So if you want to know more about what is happening behind the scenes, then by all means become a patron. So I would like to also put your minds at rest for those of you who have been waiting for 100 babies and the update on that. I do actually plan for that to be my next video next week. So you are going to get an update, and we are going to start the Sims videos again very, very soon. I'm going to probably start posting shorts on this channel too, because honestly, I really enjoy making shorts. So hopefully you'll get excited about those too. Instagram stories have already become more consistent than they were before, so you can follow me on Instagram, of course. And recipes might actually have to wait a little while, and I'll talk more about that in upcoming videos, but there is a good reason, I promise. There are also a lot of subjects that I would really like to talk about on this channel that I have not explored with all of you before, so stay tuned to that. Some may be interior decorating or even DIY projects that are a little more intense than making a cottagecore pumpkin house. And now I am going in with my eyeliner, which has completely rubbed off, so I don't even know what this is called, but I like it a lot. And of course, mascara. There have also been some life events that have happened in the Cantrell Brown household recently. While I would love to go into more details about those right now, I can't because we are on a schedule. More importantly than any video update, I wanted to make it very clear to you that I have missed you all so much, and I have been waiting for months to get the time to actually film a video. So hopefully you are just as excited as I am to hang with me here on this platform and on the others. For once in the history of this channel, me leaving had honestly nothing to do with mental health issues, which is great, right? So thank you to those of you who are still subscribed, who have been waiting forever for a video to come out. I just used a little bit of my L'Oreal Pop Balm for highlights because it actually works really well as a highlighter. And now I'm going to go in with my lipstick, and on a dreary day like today, I like to use bright red lipstick because I feel like it just cheers everyone on, including myself, for a long day of editing work, which is what I am about to embark on today. I am gonna go for an overdrawn look, which was pretty much a staple of the 40s and the 50s. And then I'm going to layer it with a little bit more natural of a red color, because as you can see, this is like clown bright right now. And these are both L'Oreal Color Stay in Amaze and I Am Worthy, which are pretty great names. So now I'm going to do my hair, and well, it is very long now and very, very thick. And so I have been actually really struggling with this because it takes a really long time to put it in curlers every single night. And in fact, because of the nature of my work, I sometimes just can't justify putting it in curlers because I am outside in the wind and the snow, and it would ruin my hair in 2 seconds. I was part of a Halloween event where I dressed up as like a 1920s witch. It was very fun. That said, I did my hair in the finger waves. Everything looked fantastic, and then walked outside for 5 seconds and the whole thing just fell apart, and I had to put it in a simple little bun and just be okay with that. So any suggestions you might have for keeping this tamed in extreme conditions, I am all about. But for today, I'm just going in with my paddle brush. I'm gonna brush it out because it probably desperately needs it. And then I'm going to use these wonderful little combs that I got on Amazon. They were super cheap, and they just keep my hair in simple little buns and back out of my face. Make sure that you like below, because that really does help algorithmically. And I will see you again in the next video. But I do have a question for you, so I want you to comment down below. What are you most excited about in the new year? Bye!